thing that I want to talk to you guys a little bit about is, what are you allowed to do? What are you allowed to be as a human being, as a student? These are your rights. So this is your permission slip. And this is going to be something that you get to walk away with when you leave today. Now I'm going to read them through with you. You are allowed to have the feelings you feel. You are allowed to talk about how you feel free of judgment. You are allowed to show your emotions. You are allowed to not be friends with people who don't support you. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to not be perfect. You are allowed to walk away from unhealthy relationships. You are allowed to try new things and be uncomfortable. The last one's really important. Anything new you do is going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be unfamiliar, and it's going to get you out of your comfort zone. And that's exactly where you need to be in high school. I'm not talking about out of your comfort zone and doing 5 AP classes. I'm not talking about out of your comfort zone, saying yes to every commitment that you have so that you don't miss out on any, so that you don't have a loss of opportunity. What I'm talking about being uncomfortable is, I'm talking about emotionally being uncomfortable in a healthy, productive way. I'm uncomfortable standing up in front of a large audience. Does that discomfort mean it's bad? No. Does that discomfort mean I shouldn't do it? No. What it means is that I'm outside of my comfort zone, but I find it important and of value because I know what I give out comes back. And if you can start to have this mentality that by being vulnerable, because I'm pretty vulnerable up here, right, doing this in front of a couple hundred students and not knowing where it's going to go, what people are going to think, and is this going to reflect back on me or my business? Like, there's a lot of vulnerability standing up here, but I find it worthwhile because if my vulnerability about being up here and telling you that I'm uncomfortable or vulnerable might make you be like, maybe I can do it too. So if one person can make a change, maybe I can make that change for someone in here today. That person can go off and make a change. Like, there could be an entire cultural change. And so when I say discomfort, I'm not talking about adding more classes, being more productive. I'm not talking about that level of discomfort. I'm talking about an emotional discomfort of just being a little bit more transparent, a little bit more honest, and showing up just a little bit more than you ever have for other people. Because this is the adversity that you need to create in your life. If you're a high number on your iceberg because you're like living your best life, you need to create more adversity for yourself. You need to find a way to get uncomfortable again and talk to that person in the lunchroom that you would have never talked to. Be a peer buddy. Do something in the community. Like, get yourself uncomfortable and continue to challenge yourself, because then you're going to evoke some uncomfortable feelings about yourself, some insecurities, some nervousnesses, and that's, that evokes it. That's fine. It's a good challenge to have. And then you push through it. So when you need a topic for your ACT, your SAT essays come senior year, this is what it could be. It could be about how you went to a workshop. You learned about vulnerability. You learned about how to show up for your life in a different way. And then you went and did something courageous and different. Like, colleges are really interested in that. Probably more so than your GPA. Because when you're in an incubator of such successful, highly productive people, like we are in our community here, what makes you stand out? It's not more classes. It's not more hobbies or clubs or sports. It's the untangible. It can be the emotional stuff that makes you stand out. And that's a wonderful challenge that we should all try to accept. And so I'm going to kind of call you guys to think a little bit about how you're going to, one, either show up more in your life because your number was low, or two, if your number is high, what I'd like you to do is think about how you can create some more discomfort and push through it and try to just change your life and then change other people's life. And so that's what I'm going to call on you guys to do today.